Amy at Fashion Toppings here, and I'm gonna do a quick little refashion with one of my flannel shirts and a doily. I love doilies, y'all know that. And apologize, absolutely no makeup on today. I have severe dry eye and I can't get makeup on right now. It's painful. It feels like having two scratched eyes. So I can't wear makeup until it is all taken care of. So no close-ups. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this flannel shirt, very plain. What I want to do, it's simple. I have this cute doily, and I'm gonna put the doily on the back of the shirt. And look it up. It really makes it a more feminine shirt now, just by doing that. And you know, if you want to make it a little bit sexier and you want to have show some skin through here, I'm gonna also attempt to cut the fabric out from behind the doily to make it see-through. So, and this is a thrifted. I mean, it still has the little tag here. It shows that it's thrifted. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I need to do is I need to find center back. And I need to do that so that this is centered on the back of the shirt. So I've already marked it, but what I did is matched up the collars. So the front collar is all matched up. Make sure, look inside, make sure the shoulder seams that go down your shoulder, because here's the arm, make sure the shoulder seams are matched up. And I can just pinch my way to the back. There is center back. And I just put a pin there to mark it that that is center back. And if you unfold it, you'll see your pin. My pin's very small, but you'll see your pin and it'll show you where center back is. So I know with my pin being right here, that's my center back. Now, I'm gonna wanna pin my doily on, and I love using stripes because it's like a guideline. So I'm in this white stripe. I know this white stripe right here, that's my center. So I have this little hole in my doily. That's the center of my doily. I wanna make sure that hole is on that white stripe. And then start pinning your doily onto the back of your shirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pin this all the way around so that it lays nice and flat. Another option is the spray adhesive. You shouldn't be doing this inside, but you can spray and it will help keep your doily in place. Just long enough to be able to get it stitched on. I'm still going to use pins, but this kind of helps. See how it just sticks? So this spray, I mean, it washes out anyway, and we're going to be cutting the fabric out from underneath. So I just want it to stay put so I can get it to be equal all the way around. So I might spray some more up here, because I like actually using the spray, and I'll also use pins too. So just pull that down, spray, and you got some time to be able to move it around and make adjustments if you needed. Now measure from your arm seam right here, measure over. Use a ruler and measure over and make sure that you are, actually, need to be over farther, to make sure that you have equal distance on each side, from the side seams or the armhole to your doily. That makes sure that you don't want an awkward shaped doily in the back of your shirt. So just do your best to make sure everything's even. Like I said, you have a couple minutes before this is really most effective when you're using the spray adhesive. You got a couple minutes to move things around, and then after that, the more you move stuff around, the less sticky it's gonna be. So there we go. I think that looks pretty centered. And just to reinforce this, I know I already used the spray adhesive to hold it in place, but since I'm gonna be sewing and moving it a lot, I am gonna go through and put some pins all the way around as just that extra reinforcement. I'm gonna take this to the sewing machine, and I have it pinned into place, and what I'm gonna do is, right now, I'm just gonna do a straight stitch. And I'm gonna do a straight stitch all the way around this border here. because if I decide to cut the fabric out from behind it, then when I cut the fabric, my raw edge, I usually fold from the inside. I'll fold and then I'll restitch over it again. And I can use a zigzag then, and that will prevent the interior fabric from fraying. So for right now, just hold it into place. I'm doing a straight stitch. So let's take it to the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm gonna take my, I don't have to take that off, but I prefer to sew without it on. Okay, slide the shirt underneath. Okay. Now I'm going to sew, I see a nice spot that's nice and thick on the doily. I'm going to follow that pattern. I don't know much about doilies because I don't know how to crochet, so I'm not sure what all these little notches and knobs and all that kind of stuff are called. I'm just finding the thickest point, and I don't want to pull it up because it's, you know, I'll see if I can zoom in. See right here where all these little loops connect, there is a straight line, like almost like a seam. That's what I'm going to be sewing in because that's going to be the least obvious to be able to see my sewing. And I guess I need to thread this. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to do a straight stitch right in the thickest seam of the doily. Okay, fixed stitch or back stitch, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to do both. Back stitch a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to keep my needle in the down position while I'm sewing, like I always do, just because we're going to be moving this fabric to follow the doily. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's keep following it around, keep making sure the flannel fabric is staying smooth as we go. We don't want any bumps in here. Okay, come to the end, you're gonna back stitch or fixed stitch. Okay. Okay, up. Here it is. I think it turned out super cute. But the front of the shirt is still plain. So I haven't decided if I'm going to cut that fabric out, because it's really not that noticeable whether I did or didn't. But I might cut it out just so I can show you guys how it's done. But I have another idea. So the front of it, you know, even if I put a doily on the pocket, I think that's too gaudy, because front and the back. But I'm going to take the corners of these. I'm gonna cut these two little corners out, and I'm gonna sew them onto the collar right here. So the corners of the collars are also crocheted. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna follow the pattern of the doily. I'm gonna cut one of these corners off. Like I said, I don't know a lot about crocheting, so I'm just taking a chance as to where I'm cutting that it's not gonna fall apart. I'm following the pattern is what I'm doing. Okay. So I just cut out, see how there's a point? This point right here, I can put on the collar. See, and I think that would be cute. So I'm gonna cut out another one to match this side. I'll cut that out and I'll bring it back. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray a little bit of adhesive on the corner of this collar, right where I'm gonna put the doily. I'm gonna spray a little adhesive. I just sprayed my foot and the carpet. Should be doing this outside. Okay, so find the corner. See how cute that's gonna be? This spray adhesive is so nice. It just kind of holds everything into place until I get a chance to stitch it. So my corner of my collar is gonna have a doily. Give it that extra look. This stuff stinks, by the way, the spray. This is called spray adhesive. That's all I'm using. That's all I have on hand. Okay, just make sure you're spraying the right side, the appropriate side of the collar. Spray, put the doily into place. It's gonna look cute. Then all I have to do is take it to the sewing machine. The same thing I did with the back. I'm just gonna put a stitch all around the 4 sides, just to hold it into place. Let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the little corners done. So the corners of the collar. So that kind of dresses it up a little bit. See? So I put the little doilies on the corner, and I swear, I mean, this stuff makes it so easy. This was so easy to do. Okay, next, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that centerpiece out for you just so you can see how to do it. So as you can see now, it's got the flannel behind it. Now, if you wanna do this for a t-shirt and make a see-through a little bit more sexy, look on the inside, and I use matching thread because I really like this project and I wanna be able to keep wearing it. But you will see, you can see right here my stitch line. You can see where stitch line is. You're gonna want to grab the fabric and separate it from your doily. So you're grabbing the front and the back at the same time, and I glued mine, so it's gonna take a little bit of pulling. So you grab a section so that you're not cutting the doily in the front, you're just cutting a little hole in your fabric in the back. So I'm gonna cut a hole to get it started. And that glue, that adhesive is just, it's not permanent. It's just to hold it in place while you're sewing. So you're gonna have to, now you're gonna cut out your fabric from behind your circle. Being mindful, pay attention to where your circle, your stitch line is for your doily. You don't wanna cut through that. So you're gonna cut up to it about, let's say about a 1/2 inch away. So I'm gonna cut all the way up to the stitch line. Making sure, sticking my fingers in there, making sure I'm not cutting through my doily. And I'm gonna cut up to about a 1/2 inch away from any given seam line. That, you know, the line we used is to cut the doily, or to sew the doily on. It's so hard to concentrate and talk at the same time. So now I'm just gonna cut a big circle out. Making sure I've got my hand in there, separating the doily from the shirt. Okay, I'll finish cutting this and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I cut the fabric out. This is what it's gonna look like, and I'll show you how to finish it though. You can see my purple shirt through it. Pretty sure you can see the purple shirt through it. See, yeah, so it's see-through now. But now this fabric, it's flannel. It's gonna fray. So, you see what I did? This is the inside of the shirt. See where I cut? And I have a little bit of seam allowance. I told myself I was gonna cut about a 1/2 inch away from the seam line. So what we're gonna do, I'll zoom you in. Here is my stitch line that's holding the doily on. This is the inside of the shirt. See, I cut a 1/2 inch away from that line. We're gonna fold that up like this. You can iron it if you want to. I'm not going to. But since I'm gonna be sewing from the right side of the fabric, because I want it to look nice, I'm gonna pin it on the right side of the fabric. There we go. So you can see my little pin, my little pin right here. I'm gonna pin it from the right side because I wanna sew from the right side of the fabric so that I know I'm sewing nice and neat and I'm not getting the doily caught up or anything like that. So there. I'm going to all the way around the circle, see the big circle. I'm gonna fold that edge up all the way around, and then from this side of the fabric, I can make sure my doily is laying flat, and I'm gonna sew all the way around it again. And so by sewing all the way around the edge here, where I've just pinned it, it's gonna catch the folded fabric in the back. It's gonna catch this folded fabric, and I'm gonna use a zigzag, and that's gonna keep it from fraying. So I hope that makes sense. Let me zoom out real quick and explain it one more time. For those of you who don't like it when I repeat myself, you can fast forward. For those of you who do like me repeating myself, then here we go. So, as you can see, we got our circle cut. We're going to go on the inside, fold our raw edge up, hold it, and pin it from this side. Because you can see how the doily, if you didn't sew from the right side of the fabric, you wouldn't know if your doily is laying flat. You could end up sewing it like this and getting a doily like caught down, and then you'd have to tear it apart and redo it. So we pin from the right side, making sure we're catching that fold of fabric, that raw edge, folding it up out of the way so that we can have a nice clean edge on the inside. So I'm gonna pin it all the way around, and I'm gonna take it to the sewing machine, and then we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I have it all pinned on. As you can see, the pins around the outside, and it's catching the fabric, the folded fabric on the inside, that folded fabric. So let's just make another circle around the doily, catching that folded fabric. And this time we're using a zigzag stitch. That's also going to hold the doily down as well. Okay, start off with a fixed stitch as usual, or a back stitch. Make sure my needle's in the down position. And if your doily gets caught up underneath the foot, to use a straight pin and push it back out of the way so it doesn't get caught. My zigzag stitch is right there. It's holding that flap of material. It's holding that little flap right here, holding it up, and it zigzags, so if it frays, it's not gonna fray that far, or I can trim it down farther. But let's go see how it looks on. Okay, God, I wish I could be wearing makeup right now. I love how it turned out. It is hotter than a son of a gun in this room. It's like 90 degrees outside, but. So I have now my doily collars, love them. And then the see-through back. I don't know if you can, so you can see my pink through it. So much, much better. So I'm really liking this project. This was so simple, and it's one of my, you know, all those extra doilies that I had left over. This has gotta come off. It's one of those extra doilies that I had, and it is, a circular one is the best one to start out with, because I did have, let me see if I can get some focus. I did have a star-shaped one. I did have this one, and which would have been cute, and I might do this on a t-shirt, but this would have been a lot harder to follow the edges. So this is not a starter doily to work with. A square, I have lots of square ones, you know, the square or a circle are the easiest to deal with. And I just like how it turns out, so you can see completely through it. And on the inside, it looks finished too, so it doesn't matter. Now how easy is that? You can do it to a t-shirt, you can do it to a denim jacket, you can do it to a pillowcase. There's so many options, and like I said, this doily, oh, I didn't say this before, but this doily I only paid $1 for at, I can't remember if this one was the garage sale or the estate sale, but I took off the little yellow $1. So I paid $1 for this, and this is a thrifted shirt. And now I took a men's flannel and made it more feminine and more boho. You guys know I love that boho, you know, the boho romantic looks. So there we go. There's the back, and updated the collars. Okay, well, there's another refashion project. This is Amy of Fashion Toppings. Until next time, you have a great day.